Hello and welcome in. Obviously, in honor of the combine, for the next week or so, I'm going to do my top five at each position, starting with quarterbacks today. So here are my top five quarterback prospects for the 2023 NFL Draft. So let's go ahead and start off at number one. I like Bryce Young. Now, I know there's a size concern. He's about 5'10", maybe 5'11", about 190 pounds. Would like to see him get to 200, 210, maybe 215, but the production was just off the charts at Alabama. Obviously, the 2021 Heisman Trophy winner, and last year with a lot less wide receiver talent, Jermaine Burton and Jahmyr Gibbs were his best receiving talents. He still threw for 3,300 yards and 32 touchdowns and only 5 interceptions, so still had a productive year. By all accounts, coming out of Alabama, even from Nick Saban, he is a good leader. He has the intangibles, good leader. He's mature, good kid. So he's got everything you like outside of the size, but everything else is there. If he was 6'2", 6'3", he'd probably be a generational talent. I like Bryce Young a lot as my number one overall quarterback. And number two, we're going to go to Ohio State, and we're going to go C.J. Stroud. Now, C.J. Stroud, he's one of those quarterbacks that if you give him a clean pocket and time to throw, he will pick your defense apart, and he is really good at that. And there was question marks most of the season and most of his 2 years starting at Ohio State because he seemed like he would be a mobile, athletic guy, but he never really showed it. He basically waited till the last game of his career, the playoff game in the Peach Bowl against Georgia, to show that athleticism and that mobility. And did he show it in a big way? He ran all over that Georgia defense, which was one of the top 3 to 4 defenses in the country. So he had a really big game there on top of the accuracy and just overall decision making that he has. Obviously, he did play with some great talent. 3 great wide receivers last year in Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, and Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then you had Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Ibuka this year. So really good talent, but he did maximize that talent a lot as well. So I like C.J. Stroud a lot, and he'll be my number 2 quarterback that I think should come number 2 off the board in this draft. And number 3, it's going to be a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to go with the Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker. Now, I know there's concerns, obviously, with the knee injury he suffered against South Carolina. And then, obviously, he is 25 years old, so he's a little old for a rookie. But, I mean, if you just look at his last 2 years at Tennessee, extremely productive, both in 2021 and 2022. He is one of the best deep ball throwers, if not the best deep ball thrower in the entire NFL draft, in my opinion. And he has good athleticism. He can move. He's a big guy, 6'4", probably about 220. Maybe put on a little bit more weight would probably help, but a big, strong arm guy, accurate, and he's an adult, obviously. 25 years old, maturity. You don't have to worry about the character issues. And then we'll move to number 4, and number 4 and number 5 are my biggest question marks for this draft. But we'll start with number 4, and that is Anthony Richardson, the quarterback from Florida. Now, Anthony Richardson is the most athletic of these quarterbacks, but has the most question marks. So he's going to be the fastest quarterback of these quarterbacks, I think. He's definitely the most athletic, but his accuracy and decision-making are not good. He tends to be kind of a one-read and run guy where his first read isn't there. He takes off running. You can get away with that a little bit in college football. You cannot get away with that in the NFL, so that'll be a challenge for him. But if he goes to the right situation with the right coaching and the right tutelage, he can be a really good player at the NFL level, kind of like a Josh Allen there. So I like Anthony Richardson as the number 4 quarterback in this draft. And then at number 5, we'll stay in the SEC, and we'll go with the Kentucky quarterback, Will Levis. He's even a bigger project to me now. He's a big, strong guy. He is pretty athletic, big arm. He can throw the ball a long way, but his decision-making is not great. His accuracy is not great, and he had really low production this last 2 years. So did Richardson, but Levis also had really low production these last 2 years. And, I mean, he couldn't beat out Sean Clifford at Penn State and had to transfer to Kentucky. So that speaks a lot, too, because Sean Clifford probably won't even get drafted and may not even play ever in the NFL. And Will Levis couldn't beat him out, and now I'm supposed to expect that he's a top 10 player after 2 years at Kentucky that were subpar years. So he has a lot of upside. Both him and Richardson have high ceilings, but really low floors. So is a lot of question marks for me around Will Levis. I'll put him at my number 5 quarterback, but I would not draft him in the first round, and I may not draft Anthony Richardson in the first round either. But there's a lot of quarterback needy teams out there. Both these guys will go in the first round. Maybe all 5 of these guys will go in the first round. Outside looking in, just a couple of sleeper quarterbacks. I really like Jake Haener out of Fresno State. And then obviously Max Duggan, the runner-up for the Heisman Trophy out of TCU. I think he's just got that kind of grit. His accuracy and his arm strength aren't great, but I think he's just got that kind of grit that you love. But those are my top 5 quarterbacks in this draft. I'll do a position a day. Next will be running backs tomorrow.